Greetings again, my name is Jesse, and I do these mental health videos to help people. Today it's a very serious issue, suicide and depression. And the first thing I want to deal with is our attitude, how we view things. Um, this is not a judgment, but the reality is that we cause ourselves the majority of the pain with our thoughts. Now let's stop and just evaluate that statement. Nobody wants to be in a state of perpetual pain. And that state of perpetual pain and suffering wears people down. It makes people sad. It makes people depressed. And after a while, people start seeing things as hopeless, and they start feeling helpless. And then the idea comes into their mind. The idea comes into our minds because we're all human beings. This is how we process emotions and information. That maybe we should take our lives. That's the idea that comes into our minds. And let me tell you that there are no answers in suicide. There's nothing beautiful on the other side. Now, let's stop and just be kind to ourselves. We have made ourselves afraid of our own fear. We all want to be free of pain and suffering. And we start to evaluate why it is we're suffering. We start to feel panic from fear because we know we're afraid of all that pain. And there can be many sources. Excuse me. I should have bought cough drops or something to drink. However, if we're kind to ourselves and we don't beat ourselves up with our negative inner voice or our negative attitude, and we start looking at things differently, we can minimize that pain and suffering, and we don't have to be afraid of that panic that starts when we want to evaluate our life. And I want to spend time on this. You don't have to be afraid. You can relax. When I meditated on these issues, I put together, for extreme emotions, first, relaxation. And that's important. And then after relaxation is emotional management. And when we're dealing with emotions here, pain and suffering, loneliness, sadness, things have gone wrong, people have abused us. And we were never taught how to put our emotions in order. Should we hate people? Should we be ashamed because we hate people? Have we started beating ourselves up and hating ourselves? All of these are thoughts that we're in control of, things that we do. They're fueled by emotion, but they're only fueled by emotion because we don't know how to deal with them. And there is hope. You're your own hope. And the reason we are our own hope is because we know how to think. And we know how to organize information. And from organizing information, we know how to plan. And after we make a plan, we need to act. We have the personal strength to act. And the action here is that I'm going to be kinder to myself. That's the beginning. I'm not going to be negative. I'm not going to see everything as dark. I'm going to get out of toxic situations that are harming me. Same. But it takes time. I have to remind myself, and I have to remind people, that this is a process that happens every day. Every day we have to remind ourselves to be positive. Every day we have to remind ourselves to look at for what's good in life and to enjoy the simple, healthy pleasures of life. Those of us who have serious mental health complications, don't need to complicate our friends' life, our family members' life. The majority of this we have to deal with ourselves. And I say those of us because this is inclusive. This is not an effort to ridicule, to judge, to prosecute, to persecute. It is an effort to help. And when we want to evaluate our own emotions and our own thoughts and deal with our own lives, we can work through that panic. We can work through that fear by recognizing that there isn't anything to fear. Because what we fear is a manifestation of the thoughts in our minds. Now, if there's a real source for your stress, I have constantly said that you need to get away from that abusive husband, that abusive wife, but you need to do it in a smart way, in a way that does not threaten your life. You need to wait for the opportunity to escape. And you definitely need to involve your friends, your family members, and if you're able to, law enforcement. I don't recommend law enforcement that much because law enforcement tends to create more problems than law enforcement solves. But take it easy. It's not impossible. Don't be your own worst enemy. By every idea that you have, you knock it down with negativity. This really is an exercise in self-love, in self-respect, in wanting to take care of yourself and not being the individual who's destroying you. We cannot be our own worst enemies. We can be our best friends by recognizing that our thoughts contribute to our emotions. Again, I am convinced that a lot of modern day depression is related to people not knowing how to live, not knowing how to enjoy music, not knowing how to read books, not knowing how to enjoy friendships and families and recreation, outdoor activities. There's a lot that life can offer, and instead of feeling bad, we're laughing at some comedy program. That's healthy. Vulgarity is not healthy. Bad words are not healthy. People whose comedy is based on ridiculing other people, it's unhealthy. But we can help ourselves, and that's the important part I want to spend a lot of time in. Don't be afraid. Don't compound your pain with more fear. Believe that you can organize your thoughts, and believe that you can organize your emotions, and then out of good thoughts, good emotions will come good behaviors. There's nothing wrong with you. Even if you're the worst person on the planet Earth, at any point in time, we can recognize that we're wrong, and we can start living better. And you're a good person. Things have happened to you. Things that you wish had not happened to you have happened to you. And nobody has helped you put all of this in perspective. Those bad co-workers who ridiculed you, laughed you, bullied you until you left that place. And now you're scared of going to another place of employment because you may encounter the same thing. Or the divorce from an abusive spouse, or just divorce, or romantic separation, or death in the family, maybe even a death of a pet. All of these tend to compound, and when we don't know how to deal with our emotions in a healthy way, one of the things that we need to be very serious about is understanding that there are things that we just cannot change. We cause a lot of problems for ourselves when we're continually trying to change things that cannot be changed. It's a lot of pain and suffering comes from we wanted to be a nurse, we wanted to be an astronaut, we wanted to be a doctor of psychology, we didn't get there, and now we're going to, it's almost like throwing a fit, and we're not going to participate in life anymore. That's unhealthy. A bad attitude is unhealthy. A negative attitude is unhealthy. Again, love yourself. Take care of yourself. It's not a criticism. It's okay to say, I have been living the wrong life for a very long time. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say, I have been emotionally weak for a long time. The world's not going to end. We need to look at our flaws so we can fix them. And we have to be patient about it. You know, it starts with one step. It's, you know, it's like exercising. You don't just start, you know, doing heavy exercises. You start slow, and then moderate, and then you work yourself up to heavy. So you start with yourself. The basics, the eating properly, sleeping, you know, eating good food. You start with the basics, taking care of the body. The body needs nutrition to fight. You stop beating yourself up, and you start liking yourself, because there's nothing wrong with you. And you start remembering the things that you like to do in life before everything got so chaotic and so crazy. You can rebuild. What happened in the past, forget it. If people want to judge you for the 10 years that you threw away in depression, that's okay. We need friends. We need family. But we don't need people who enjoy beating up our spirit. You know, tearing away at our hope. We should like ourselves. We should understand that we are good people. And if other people want to have a negative opinion of us, that's fine for them. Why are we joining the club and beating up on ourselves with our own negative voice? Fear is understandable. Fear is understandable. Panic is understandable under the circumstances. But you don't want to harm yourself, because there's nothing good comes from you harming yourself. A lot of good comes from just taking a couple of minutes to do breathing exercises, to relax. And when you feel comfortable, when you feel relaxed, then you start dealing with one emotion, or maybe even half of an emotion. Okay? And you start incorporating fun into your life. There may be people, I know there's people out there laughing and ridiculing and saying this person is telling individuals who suffer from major depression and close to being suicidal to have fun. This is therapy, intensive therapy. That's what I wanted to get to. This intensive therapy necessary? Is costly, expensive therapy necessary? It's useful, it's helpful. I'm not going to tell anybody who can or who is in therapy. I'm not going to tell anybody not to pursue therapy, and I'm not going to tell anybody to leave therapy. But I'm also going to tell you that we are equipped to think through our challenges in a healthy, balanced, not afraid manner, and to start putting our emotions in order. And once we put our emotions in order, we put our thoughts in order, and we start being a positive person and pursuing simple, healthy pleasures of life. And we start focusing on what is good, and we start incorporating fun into our life. So we're not living boring lives. We're not feeling the angst and the pain and suffering of not having a life. This is not, it's not hard. But for some people, it's the hardest thing in the world, getting over sadness, getting over depression. Don't convince yourself that you're helpless. Don't convince yourself that there's no reason to have hope. Don't hate yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't call yourself stupid. You can hold yourself responsible for the things that didn't go right in your life, but don't do it in a bad, negative way. Life is a university, and life is teaching us. And and we can either learn how to be positive and establish good coping mechanisms to deal with the challenges of life, or we can become scared, overwhelmed with anxiety, enter into stages of depression, sadness and depression, and then start having thoughts about harming ourselves. And again, don't harm yourself. Please don't harm yourself. You are a valuable person. You are needed in society. There are people who love you and who are going to miss you. Maybe they don't tell you, but there are people who are grateful that you're here. You bring joy to their lives. You're a pleasant person to be around. They enjoy your company. And you got to not boil that soup of emotions. We do it with negativity. I was watching a program, TV program, I'm not going to mention the specifics. Well, the specific was that a young girl in school was bullied, and she entered into the stage of depression and pain and suffering. And that's what people are doing. When they're trying to commit suicide, many people are trying to stop that pain and suffering because of the hopelessness that we have built for ourselves. And we can just as easily go through our personal functioning, our mental processes, start thinking better, start managing our emotions in a healthy manner. And again, managing emotions is just asking ourselves, this emotion exists. Why does it exist? Does it exist because I'm calling myself stupid? Does it exist because I am deciding to look at things in a negative way and deciding that there's no reason to have hope? Is it my thoughts that are contributing to the emotions? And if it's my thoughts that are contributing to the emotions, then I am in charge. I am in control. I can have better thoughts. And I'm a good person and I should do it. And there's going to be people who are not going to agree with me. There's people who are not going to like me. There's people who are going to give me dirty looks. Don't internalize that. Don't personalize that. Let that be something, let that be their flaw. Your flaw should not be to pay attention to people who don't deserve your attention. Your good value should be to pay attention to people who build you up, who hug you, who love you, who care about you. See, the strangest thing is when I see these programs is that the person who's in trouble has friends and family members who want to help, but the person who's in trouble pushes them away, and they push them away because they pay attention to the people who are beating up on them. Don't pay attention to those people. They cannot harm you if you don't let them harm you, and there's no reason for you to want to win them over. You should win yourself over. You should start remembering your dreams and your likes. You know, what kind of music did you like? What kind of books did you like to enjoy? Television programs with friends, good friends, family members. Now remember, there is a lot of good in life. If you want to spend our time looking at the negativity, the bad, we can. That is going to lead us to hopelessness. That is going to lead us to a sense of helplessness. But if we start functioning and looking at life for what is good and taking what good, like just thinking that an apple is good. I remember when I was having a conversation with a person about focusing on what's good in life, and I went through my regular grocery list, you know, of music and literature and exercise and outdoor activity, recreation and friendships and family members. And I had never thought of this, but the person said, and puppies and kittens. Yes, puppies and kittens are simple, healthy pleasures of life. They have those goofy little faces, and for some odd reason they can just make us feel better just by being there. So there's a lot of good in life. And that's the secret to life. We can obsess on the negative, or we can work with the positive. You should like yourself. You should like yourself. You should say, hey, I'm not a bad person. I may be a person that 150 people don't much care for, but I care for myself. And I'm going to take care of myself. And I'm going to be healthy. And my thoughts are going to be positive. And I'm going to help my emotions with my positive thoughts. And I do want things from life. And sometimes there's going to be disappointments, but there's a healthy way to deal with disappointments. Accept it. Is watching a TV show and it's stupid and foolish, but one of the characters told the other character, life is going to disappoint you. That's life. Not everybody who we want to be romantically attracted to us is going to be romantically attracted to us. Sometimes life and love and romance is going to disappoint. It's not the end of the world. There's a whole bunch of people. You may have not succeeded with this person, but you can just as easily succeed with that person. And you should have confidence. And your self-esteem should be good self-esteem. And you don't have to beat yourself up constantly every time something doesn't go the way you want it to go. There's a lot of things that contribute to depression. Some people were sexually abused. Some people were physically abused. Some people didn't have moms and dads, and they wanted them. They longed. They had this need for love from their natural parents. But we have to remember that we identify everything. All information, we say good or bad. And reality is reality. What we cannot change, we cannot change. If we were put up for adoption, we cannot change it. And there's going to be stupid people who are going to say stupid things. Don't focus on them. Focus on you. You tell yourself good things. You tell yourself positive things. You build yourself up. You inspire yourself. You recognize that your life does have meaning, that your life does have value, that you can very easily deal with the things that you're going through and come out a smiling, happy, joy-filled person. So these processes that we're going through, we have a lot to do with. We contribute a lot to our illness state, whether that's anxiety or that's depression. And I'm not belittling your experience. I'm not saying that what you went through wasn't serious. It's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that you're equipped, that you're a strong person, that you can think through all of this, and you can put this in a healthy perspective. And by putting things in a healthy perspective, you won't feel that pain and suffering that much anymore. It will be there, but it won't be there as bad. And then you'll know what to do. You'll put on your favorite music CD. You'll read a book. You'll take a walk. You'll spend time with your dog or your cat. You'll talk to your friends in a healthy manner, not overwhelming them with your situation. It's basic human nature. Eventually people will say, I can't deal with this, I need to go somewhere else. That's basic human, and you can't fault, you can't blame your friends and your family for giving up when they don't know how to deal with your situation. But you also don't need to enter into a state of fear, of panic, of helplessness, of hopelessness, because you are strong enough to deal with this. Again, all of us can think. All of us can think positive, just as much as we can be negative. All of us can organize information. All of us can use that information to plan, and all of us can act. All of us can sit at a desk with a notebook and say, okay, these are my challenges in life. I don't get along with my sister. I don't get along with these friends. These co-workers are driving me crazy. And then start putting a positive perspective on it. I don't control this person. I don't control that person. I control me. How am I going to enjoy life and not give them that much attention? I don't need to fight with them. I don't need to be in conflict with them. I don't need to feel bad. I don't need to feel rejected. I shouldn't feel rejected because I like myself. I consider myself a good person. You should consider yourself a good person. You should love yourself. You should enjoy life knowing that you're a good person. And if other people don't agree, let them not agree. There's a lot of toxic human beings in the world. There's a lot of people infected with evil, infected with dark energy, and they spend their time ridiculing. See, this is why I say it isn't about them. change in our lives is about us, because they're always going to be ugly human beings, always going to be ugly human beings. You cannot change them. You can give them a copy of this video, it'll mean nothing to them. Being positive, being healthy, pursuing simple healthy pleasures in life, looking for fun in life, fun entertainment, recreation, a puppy, a cat, music that you like, focusing on the good, liking yourself, building yourself up, knowing that you're a good and decent person, you're not harming anybody, you're helping yourself. All of that information for some people is just another reason to ridicule and laugh. Won't mean anything to them. We can't help them. We cannot fix them. There's nothing we can do for them. There's nothing that Jesus Christ can do for them. What we need to do is mellow out and focus on ourselves, because it's not about them. Now, I've said this before, I'm very security minded, and we do need to worry about them when we know they have an intent on harming us. And I believe in firearms, I believe in pepper spray, I believe in stun guns, I believe in using the law. Again, like yourself. Don't be afraid of fear. Take it easy, one step at a time, little by little. You start organizing this emotion. You start relaxation exercises. Once you feel rested, you deal with one thing that is a challenge, and the way you deal with it is this emotion because of my negative attitude? And if it is, then we change to a positive attitude. If it has to do with how other people are treating you, you don't control them, so you need to decide. Do I put up with this abuse, or do I find a healthy place to be? See, life is just that simple. There is no person so important that you should be destroying your mental health over. I don't care how attractive you think they are. I don't care how much you're attached emotionally to them. If they are harming you emotionally, psychologically, they're not that good people. If they are denying you their love, if they're denying you their attention, if their life is all about them, and all you're doing is crying in their shadow, why do you need a person like that? In a romantic relationship, it should be two people equally interested in a relationship, and each one giving their part for a positive, healthy relationship. It takes complete people to be in a relationship. Maturity is required in romance, in love, romance, and marriage. And both people need to be positive. Both people need to be about enjoying the simple, healthy pleasures of life. Both people need to be about incorporating fun into their lives. Both people need to be their fun entertainment for each other. See? Now, I believe in conversation. I believe that you can sit down and say, listen, this is what I'm going through, and this is the reason I'm going through it, and this is what I need from you. I believe in conversation. However, you got to recognize that person may be immature. That person who you felt so deeply in love with may not be worth it. The same thing for that job. The same thing for that career that you're pursuing and you're chasing and it's just driving you crazy. You don't have a moment's peace. You can't enjoy life because you're chasing this university dream, and every step is just another obstacle. There are many ways to earn money. I no longer promote higher education. It's a lie. It really is spending a whole lot of money in a lie. But we always got to be positive. We always got to like life. We always got to look for what's good and decent. In our darkest days, we should be singing. We should be dancing. it's true. Life is going to suck. I'm gonna say it again. Life is going to suck. We have to make it a party. And I'm not talking about delusions. You know, I'm not talking about fooling ourselves. I'm just talking about being realistic, being positive, being optimistic, having hope, believing in ourselves, believing in the ability that we have to think, organize, plan, and act. That we're in charge. We're in charge of our thoughts. And if we're in charge of our thoughts, we're in charge of our emotions. And if we're in charge of our thoughts and emotions, we're in charge of our behaviors. We can choose to pursue what's good in life. We can choose to have a healthy, positive attitude. We don't need to compete with the other people out on the road. They're unhealthy. Let them drive themselves crazy. Again, there's a whole bunch of people who just cannot be helped. And their life is going to be over like that. And they're going to be 70-year-old man recognizing they never formed a family. Or even a 70-year-old woman recognizing she never formed a family. She never thought about being a mother. She never thought about being a good wife. She never thought about building a home and being part of a bigger family and being a healthy person, a happy person. Just spent the time consuming till they get to a point in time where they can't go back. And we cannot go back and have the children that we should have had at 20 when we're 65. But if we recognize today that we're not living exactly healthy lives and we're not living lives that are beneficial to us, we can change. At any given point in time, we can change. We can pursue something better. We can pursue something healthier. We can start focusing on ourselves and not give so much power and attention to the people who hate us and who dedicate themselves to trying to destroy us. Why are we helping them? They want to destroy us. Why are we helping them? Again, you take it easy. You start small. You start with what you can deal with. You start liking yourself. You start organizing your thoughts from the negative to the positive. You start believing in yourself. You start building your own self-esteem. You start gaining your own confidence. And don't be taken aback when you're doing all of this stuff and here comes this ugly monster and just tears you apart. Laugh at it. When people give me a hard time, I laugh at it. It doesn't mean anything. It has no power because I'm powerful. They can't destroy me because they don't have the weapons to destroy me. They can't make me think negative thoughts. They can't make me hate myself. It's a rule of psychology. It is a simple rule of psychology, and it is true. The more we criticize other people, the more we are unhappy. That's simple rule of psychology. We are showing our unhappiness by the attention, the negative attention that we pay to other people. It's one of those rules that has been written down, that is established, it is known. You want to fight with it, that's fine, but that's the truth. So if our life is about ridiculing others, then we have to recognize that we're unhappy. And the answer to being unhappy isn't to harm ourselves, because again, don't harm yourself. If you want to end pain and suffering, start being healthy. Start being positive. Start managing your emotions in a healthy way. Start recognizing that your dreams are possible, but there are ways to accomplish dreams. Just having a dream doesn't automatically make the dream come true. We have no special powers to make a dream manifest itself. Work is required, and sometimes that naked ape that we fall in love with isn't going to necessarily fall in love with us. It's not the end of the world. We can try with somebody else. We are taught a lot of bad things. Movies and televisions, I'm not going to 100% agree with this, but we are given the impression that we have to be super beautiful people, and the people we pursue romantically have to be super beautiful people. And by that I mean physically attractive and politically correct attractive. What if that's not the reality? What if the reality is that we're harming ourselves trying to live up to this unrealistic expectation, this unattainable goal, and we're eating all the wrong things, and we're fat because we're upset that what they're telling us isn't really true? What you tell yourself has to be true. You have to tell yourself that you're a good person, that you're a decent person, that you're a nice person, you're a pleasant person, you're a kind person. You start focusing on your life. You start focusing on your thoughts and your emotions and your activities, your fun entertainment. And then you start having fun. And you focus on what's good in life, and that gives you enriching, healthy, joyful emotions. And then you start walking away from that pain and suffering, which you will revisit now and then. The reality is you will revisit it, but don't obsess on it. Obsess on your health, obsess on your value, obsess that you believe that you're a good person. Have a healthy home, a clean home, a clean place where you can sit in a comfortable chair and read a book, or listen to classical music, or listen to jazz, or whatever music you like. Don't annoy your neighbor with your music. Don't annoy your neighbor with your television. Don't annoy your neighbor with your car stereo. I'm surprised. We have Bluetooth headphones, but we still have people running around, driving around with their horrible noise. Personally, I don't know how they can stand. They're inside the vehicle. I'm outside the vehicle and I don't like it. How can you be inside the vehicle and enjoy that noise? Like yourself. Love yourself. You are a good person. It is possible. Have hope. Believe in yourself. Know that you can think through this in a healthy, positive way. Know that you can organize information as far as what your goals are, what your objectives are, what you need to do to feel better. Plan and then do it. Tell yourself, I am now going to wake up, and before I do anything else, I'm going to sit quietly and relax. And then I'm going to review my emotions and see what I'm in charge of and take charge of my emotions. Then I'm going to restructure my negative thoughts to positive thoughts. And I'm going to start enjoying simple pleasures, simple healthy pleasures of life. If you have to serve yourself a glass of chocolate milk, toasted wheat bread with a little bit of butter, and peanut butter and jelly, before you do anything else, go ahead and do it. Enjoy the experience of the chocolate milk and toast bread with butter and peanut butter and jelly, and watching some stupid thing on television, or goofing around with your spouse, or goofing around with your children, having healthy fun. Be your best friend. Don't be your worst enemy with your negative thoughts. This is a very serious conversation, because I know that people who are suffering, who want to end the pain with suicide, are scared to look at their lives. You don't have to be afraid. You can be encouraged. You can sense that you are empowered to deal with this challenge. That all you have to do is be kind to yourself. That's all you have to do. Be kind to yourself. And start working at your life, because you are a valuable person. We have closed ourselves off in this world of hopelessness and helplessness. And there are people out there who love us, who care about us. And sometimes they're little toothy people that they don't understand anything. All they know is you're their aunt and you're their uncle. And they love to run in your direction and just wrap their arms around you. Don't obsess on the negative. Look at the beauty of life. There's a lot of beauty in life. And that's the secret to life. To be positive, to pursue what's good, to pursue what's decent, to not focus on other people and focus on ourselves. The people who build us up are good people to have in our lives. The people who are working at destroying us and knocking us down are people who don't need in life. And sometimes that means divorce, even though I don't support divorce. The reason I don't support divorce is because you're going to carry those challenges into whatever other relationship you get into. If you work at fixing what is wrong, if you work at meeting the challenge in the marriage where you become a healthy person and your spouse becomes a healthy person, and two healthy people can now enjoy themselves and have fun and be each other's joy, that's the better solution. That's the better answer. Be kind to yourself, like yourself, love yourself, be patient with yourself. Recognize that you are powerful enough to deal with this challenge. Life has a lot of great things to offer you. You can enjoy all of them. You will love again. You will laugh again. You will dance again. You will exercise and enjoy the exercise. You will enjoy the music, enjoy the literature. You will enjoy life again. Thank you for listening, and I wish you well.